Son, and Holy Spirit. Christ is born. Today is the Sunday after Nativity and also the leave-taking, the last day of the Nativity celebration in the church. And we are presented with the gospel of the righteous Joseph and Mary fleeing from Israel into Egypt so that they can keep the child Jesus safe from Herod, who is on a tear to go and find a newborn babe that is the king of the Jews, and to kill him. We hear that gospel of all the 40,000 innocents that were killed during this time. And that by doing this, they fulfilled many prophecies. So we know that the prophecy that the Messiah should come out of the land of Egypt. We hear that today, that he would be out of Egypt, have I called my son. And we hear about the prophecy of Jeremiah and the killing of the babies and their mothers, Rachel lamenting. This is where the church fathers have said this is a prophecy fulfilled. And also in today's gospel, there is a prophecy said that Christ would be called a Nazarene. And so we heard in the gospel today that Christ and his family settled in Nazareth, and he was raised there until he would come out on Theophany, his Epiphany, his baptism, and to his public ministry. This last prophecy is a little bit unclear what this means. That if did it actually mean that he resided in Nazareth, or if he was was he a Nazarite? In Greek, it's unclear in the translation. So let's talk about what that means to be a Nazarite. A Nazarite was a group of people found in the Old Testament. We can find this in Deuteronomy, who made a commitment to a certain vow of the way of living to God. Oftentimes they won't cut their hair. Samson in the Old Testament was a Nazarite. That's why he lost his power when he cut his hair. He had made a vow not to cut his hair. And they make a vow to make a certain offerings to God at the temple and to live a very ascetical life. And sometimes that can be a temporary vow, or it can be lifelong. In our church, we can see this very evident in monasticism. They make this lifelong vow to live a certain way, and they too don't cut their hair. And oftentimes we find this maybe sometimes in the priesthood. People, these vows that priests take. But anyhow, this is what some of the fathers say, that maybe this is what Christ was. When we call him a Nazarene, we call him this because he was a Nazarite. Now, there's no proof in this in our tradition and in Scripture, but it is true that being a Nazarene, a Nazarite, would be someone who committed themselves fully to God. And in the Hebrew language, it has this correlation with being a holy person. And so, yes, indeed, Christ was a holy person. So he was a Nazarene in that instance. And I speak about this a little bit today because not too long ago, when they're in Syria, when there were these mass murders during the Civil War, that oftentimes the Christians were being persecuted there. They were being called out and being persecuted. And it was very popular on the internet to call yourself a Nazarene, because this is what early Christians were called, Nazarenes as well. We were Nazarenes if we were followers of Christ. Not just Christians, but they called us Nazarenes. And so they would show their support for the Christians in Syria by having this little symbol in Arabic that means that you were a Nazarene. And so all Christians, in a sense, are nicknamed Nazarene. And likewise, we should all be Nazarites to an extent. We should be holy people like Christ was. We should commit ourselves. We are committed to Christ. We are committed, when we are baptized, to live a certain way. We take on certain vows, even though in appearance we may not do that. Maybe that's just for monasticism, but we certainly take on vows to offer ourselves up to God. We offer our praise to God in the service. We're offering a sacrifice in the temple, a bloodless sacrifice. All of me, the priest, and the people, we do this together. So, to be called a Nazarene, we are called Nazarenes like Christ, like he was in this gospel. And we have to remain holy. We cannot lose sight of what our sacred calling is to be as Christians, as baptized members of the church, is to be apart from the world and to live a holy life, to take our vows that we professed at our baptism seriously. And we can relive that out in Theophany. when the baptismal, the theophany waters are blessed, it's the same as the prayers for baptism. It's the same prayers, brothers and sisters. So I lead this this sermon to lead us to want to come to theophany this coming Saturday and to hear the prayers of the great blessing of the water. Because it's the same prayers done when we are baptized, whether that was infant or an adult. And we can recommit ourselves to Christ with hearing these and make our vows to be a Nazarene just like Christ. In the name of God, Father, Son, and Holy Spirit.